Hey everybody, this is our new YouTube series. We're calling this Rush Roots. So what the purpose of this is to kind of get to know some of our regulars from our channel as Rush fans, get to dive into their fandom a little bit more, and anyone else who wants to come on, feel free. These are going to be short episodes, we hope, and yeah, we're just gonna basically Jim and I are going to be uh, interviewing uh, any Rush fans that want to come on and kind of share how they got into the band or their Rush roots and just share a little bit about themselves, because a lot of people that have direct messaged Rush fans on Instagram or have commented on some of our Rush roundtables on YouTube have said that they've never properly made Rush friends, and they've kind of always been cast out. So this is kind of a way to encourage community, so to speak, and get to know people as Rush fans, as well as dive into people's Rush roots. So without further ado, Jim and I are going to interview each other for episode 1 here, and Jim's going to interview me first.
All right, here we go. All right, so who are you and where are you from?
So my name's Ryan Murphy, and I'm from just outside of Albany, New York. And I am the creator of the Rush Fans Instagram account, which is why I'm here.
That is awesome. All right, so how did you hear about Rush? So what got you into them initially, and what kept you around? Tell us about your Rush roots.
So my Rush roots started back in high school in 2007. I was playing cards with my buddies, my high school buddies, and one of my buddies on his BlackBerry played Fly By Night, and I asked him. I said, what is this? And he goes, "This is a song called Fly By Night by this weird band called Rush." So yeah, I then that's how I heard about him, and then of course I asked for a greatest hits album for Christmas that year, and the rest is history. I mean, what kept me around? Just the songs just really spoke to me. I was into rock and roll at the time. I was into Kiss, Iron Maiden, Motley Crue, bands like that. I'm kind of all over the board, kind of wide spectrum. But Rush, I just gravitated to the band, the music, the lyrics, and yeah, I mean, just love them ever since. I can't get enough.
Oh, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. All right, so you got into the band, but let's see about your shows. Where was your first show? What tour was it?
So unfortunately, getting into the band in 2007, I wasn't able to see Snakes and Arrows, uh, or I guess I wasn't too into the band to purchase a ticket at the time. So my first show was in 2010, Time Machine Tour in Saratoga Springs, which is just north of Albany. It's about an hour north of Albany, where I'm from. And yeah, saw them twice on that tour. Once in Saratoga Springs, and then the following year at Madison Square Garden.
All right, cool. All right, so what was your first favorite song and your first favorite album? And is it different than your favorite song and favorite album today?
So my first favorite song, believe it or not, was not "Fly By Night." It was from the Greatest Hits album that I got for Christmas, which was the Spirit of Radio Greatest Hits album is what I got for Christmas that year. But Limelight was on that, and Limelight was the first song that really hooked me. So I'd have to say that was my first favorite song. Uh, my first favorite album, I always said my first favorite album was Grace Under Pressure, hence the shirt that I wore for this. Uh, and those differ from where I'm at currently. So my favorite song now, and has been for a long, long time, is Subdivisions from Signals. And my favorite album now, as many of you that are watching have come to know, is Power Windows.
Oh
Huge
yeah.
Power Windows guy. But really no surprise that I went from Grace Under Pressure to Power Windows, I guess, because I'm a huge fan of that whole era, the whole synth era.
Oh yeah, cool, awesome.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna interview Jim now, so we're gonna get to know Jim a little bit as a Rush fan. So, well, I guess we know who you are, but why don't you tell us? Because I just said it. Why don't you tell us who you are and where you're from?
All right, so I am Jim Benner, and I am from the Dallas, Texas area. A little small town, a little north of Dallas is where I live right now.
Okay, so yeah, tell us kind of how you heard about the band, maybe when you heard about the band, and what kept you around. Tell us your Rush roots.
All right, so I think it was probably 1982. I was in ninth grade, and a friend of mine played this song. It was Tom Sawyer, and I was blown away. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just so awesome. Who is this? And he's like, this is Rush. I'm like, I've never heard of Rush. Who is that? He goes, there's only three guys. And I said, three guys make all that racket? That is awesome. That is so great. I absolutely love it. And I was just blown away. I mean, I was just completely blown away. And then right after that, I got really sick with a high fever and tonsillitis, and I was raving about Rush to my mom, and she bought me their brand new album, Signals. She bought the wrong album because it didn't have Tom Sawyer on it, but that after I listened to the album, it came to be the absolute correct album, and I just kind of fell in love with it.
That's great. That's funny. I didn't know that we both got into Rush in ninth grade. That's funny. I was in ninth grade. It was my first year of high school. So, all right. When, where, and what tour was your first Rush show?
So my first Rush show was the Signals tour. That was at a place called Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas. Reunion Arena is since been torn down, so it doesn't exist anymore. And they played two shows, and I don't remember if I went to the first, which would have been February 28th, or the second show, which would have been March 1st. But I was so excited. I mean, it was like a little tiny, how old was I then? Maybe 14 or 15, little kid, just completely psyched and like hooked on the adrenaline, to see my favorite band. And this was way back in the day before there was anything called the internet. So you had to camp out for tickets. My mom, who bought me that awesome Signals album that I fell in love with, she camped out for the tickets for me and my friend. So camp out all
Wow.
night and bought the tickets. So that was super cool.
Wow. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right. So you may have already answered this, but what was your first favorite Rush song and first favorite album? And does that differ from what you would consider your first favorite song, or excuse me, your favorite song now, or your favorite album now?
Yeah, so my first favorite album was Signals. The very
Okay.
first one I got, and I listened to it a bunch. And like I said, I fell in love with it. My first favorite song was Digital Man.
Okay.
It was just killer. I mean, just from that opening drum intro, just the whole song. It was like I couldn't get enough of it. And my favorite song and album kind of evolved a little bit over some time. I mean, I guess my song has kind of changed from Digital Man to Analog Kid to Red Lenses to La Via to Subdivisions.
Red
But
lenses.
yeah,
Okay.
well, just all the drum stuff in
Sure.
there has
Sure.
really got me. But now I'd have to say that my favorite song is probably Xanadu.
Okay.
And if I had to pick a version of it, it'd be the exit stage left version. And my favorite album has also changed a little bit. I mean, I fell in love with Grace Under Pressure when it came out. I fell in love with Counterparts when it came out. But if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go back to the roots. It's Signals.
Okay. can never go wrong with signals.
No, yeah,
All right,
it's amazing.
cool. Well, we'll wrap there, but what we'll do is we'll tell everyone where we can be found on social media. So if you want to reach out and kind of get to know us and become Rush friends with us, my personal Instagram handle right now, every once in a while I change it, but is going to be RJM, just my initials, RJM332112. Of course, I had to have the 2112 in there. And like I was saying, creator of the Rush Fans Instagram account. You can find me on it, find us, our whole page on Instagram at Rush Fans. So Jim, why don't you go ahead and share where you can be found?
And for me, my Instagram is jim.drum. And that's where you can find me on social media.
Super easy. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Well, that was fun. We hope
Yeah.
that you kind of got to know us a little bit more as a Rush fan. Feel free to reach out, and perhaps you might have some interest in coming on and revealing your Rush roots as well. So awesome. Take care, everybody.